Hi, everybody. It's Leanne again.
And I'm Helaine. Welcome to Step Into Next, where we move together from what was to what's next.
In both business and life. So let's do this.
Let's do this. I'm very excited about today's episode.
Me too. You look really pretty.
Thank you. You look pretty. I love those earrings.
Thank you. I feel like we kind of look complementary to each other
I feel like
today.
between my nails, your
Your
earrings,
your nails, your talons
my talons,
match my earrings.
they do.
And we both have a cream vibe.
Yeah, we should coordinate these things.
We're so cute.
I know. I
We
love
should
it.
start every single episode and just compliment each other for the first 5 minutes.
I think we're already doing that.
That's true. We
Unintentionally.
literally do. Women
Subconsciously.
supporting women. Hashtag.
We literally can't. We can't stop ourselves.
I know we can't. We're
Thank you
great.
for blending my nails.
What do
What's
you
happening?
do to
Thank
them?
you for asking. So I haven't always had beautiful nails. This is like a new thing for me. Actually, when I was at City Row, I was like
I'm
raising
hiding
money,
it.
and one of the co-founders, Annie, was like, "Well, definitely can't raise money with nails like that."
First of all, I remember your nails at City Row. Remember, I worked with you and for you,
Yes,
and you had
thank you for your service.
perfectly. Yeah, thank you for your paycheck, for my paycheck. Um, you had very nice, just like not like long polished nails.
Well, but that was after after the intervention.
Oh, really?
Oh, for sure. I bit my nails my whole life out
I
of like
know.
nervousness. And so Annie was like, "You literally can't go ask people for money." And I was like, honestly, fair point. So I went to this fancy Japanese nail place down in Soho called Bisou, and I was addicted. And
Huh.
me and Annie and Ashley, we all went. I even
So
think my mom even went
you got
sometimes.
fake nails,
No, no,
or
no. It was just like they would do these hard gels with
oh,
designs.
so cute.
And I went crazy on the designs to the
Mm.
point that at some point my friends were like, "We're having an intervention. It looks like the Chinese New Year threw up on your fingers." And I was like,
Oh,
okay. And then COVID hit, and I was like, okay, I'm taking a little bit of a step back.
this is pre-code.
And I'm now back. I want you to know I'm back.
You sure are with a
I'm
vengeance.
back. I have a friend that will text me what color to do my nails now, so I don't have to think about it
Beautiful.
because I'm not up on the cool trends. But
Me
also,
either.
I got LASIK recently.
Congratulations. You
Thank
never
you.
told me that.
Best decision
Wow.
ever.
I'm not eligible for it. Isn't that terrible?
I'm sure you have a special issue.
I do. I really do. Like a few of them.
Well, so, but that's also why you can't have long nails because I was like, oh, I was sticking my fingers in my eyes twice a day.
Oh,
That's no
you take
longer
out
a thing.
contacts?
The talons are coming out. So this is just the beginning,
Damn.
Leanne. But let's get into the issues
But
with
wait,
your eyes.
yeah, I
Oh,
was just
okay.
gonna say my
I'd
special
love to
issue.
circle back to your
Well,
issues.
the
Yeah.
other special issue I have is I failed before our little shoot today to get a manicure. So
Well,
apologies, everybody, but
I'll be looking for a new co-host.
natural, yeah, please do.
Yeah.
Somebody with nails that curl like this, like
Okay.
a
Actually, that's
werewolf.
terrifying. But
All right. Well,
I
what are we
think we should.
talking?
I mean, I think this is a good one.
This is great.
I know. I was very excited about this one.
Okay. Well, basically, in this podcast,
Yeah.
we're very excited to talk amongst ourselves. And then in future episodes, very soon, we're starting with some special guests to
Yes,
talk
we
about
are.
this space in between when you've done or experienced one big thing in business, in life, in entrepreneurship, anything. And you're in that liminal space before we get to the next big thing. But today, I think we're going to talk about actually starting to think about finding a concrete path or anything, because that unfolds and that's fluid, but just really starting to frame and think about how to get to what's next, right?
Yeah, and I'm in it.
Yeah.
Very big way. So
You're
that's why this one's so relevant for me. And
okay.
I was really feeling it when I read the notes. Emphasis on me reading the notes.
Good job.
Thank you.
Now you're catching on.
Oh,
Ooh, that was kind of mean, wasn't
yeah,
it?
that's brutal. So anyway, I'm feeling this one, and I'd love for you to acknowledge that I'm having, feelings about this episode today.
Oh, uh, I'm I'm completely thrilled.
Yeah.
Well, what are you feeling most?
No, I think that I've been struggling a lot with how to decide what to do. And I've been dabbling in lots of different things. And, I would say every week something new comes across my plate that
Mhm.
could be interesting. And even last week, I was with a whole bunch of amazing entrepreneurs and builders, and people were like, well, what's next?
Mm.
And it's still hard for me to answer that question. And I'm starting to get to the point where I'm no longer burned out.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was really burnt out and I couldn't even think about something. And then something just like switched in me where I was like, oh my God, I have energy to build again.
Yeah.
And now I have all of this pent up energy that like doesn't have anywhere to go yet or has like small projects to go in. But like I'm ready to put that energy somewhere. And it's a really beautiful thing that I also am so afraid I'm going to put in the wrong thing.
I swear to God, I'm getting this weird analogy. You're talking about your business ventures and everything and closing City Row and kind of being in between, but it kind of feels like dating and love and relationships too,
Yeah,
right?
100%
Where
same
you
thing.
go through something, you have to process, sit in it. You're not
You're not
sure if you want to start
ready.
dating yet. And then suddenly you're like, all right, let's do this. I'm ready
Six
now.
dates, 1 week, let's go. I once had 3 dates in one night. That's really stacking it. It's too many.
Jesus,
Yeah.
that's exhausting.
I started at
But
like 3
what is
p.m.
it? Speed dating?
I was just like, listen, I'm going to put a great outfit on. My hair looks great. Might
Oh,
as well knock off a couple. It was 0 for 3, but
okay. All right. Well, that's okay. You putting yourself out there.
yeah,
All right.
when
But
you're ready, you're ready.
well, so that's the point in this too, particularly when it comes to being ready for your next thing. You had mentioned to me a while back, we were having a conversation about some of these topics, and you were talking about how you're in this moment now where you're starting to be ready, explore all these options and things. And you don't feel yet, without your next thing in hand, your next big thing, you don't feel like you're living to your full potential. Does that still hold true?
Oh, I said that.
And also, like, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, I think it's evolved for me a little bit in
Okay,
that I no longer believe that the thing or things that I'm working on define me
good.
professionally. I think that, and this has come with time and space. I think that I now have gotten to a place where I'm like, no, I am like fully embodied and wholehearted and all those things, just existing
Just
exactly
throwing
how
the
I am.
spiritual
Yeah,
language out there.
I know. I'm trying to
Damn.
hit as many buzzwords as
Yeah.
possible for the SEO. But I really do think that I'm now at a place where it's not about the identity. It's actually not about what anybody else thinks. It's about the fact that like I wake up and I have energy to put towards
Mhm.
things. And I don't yet have, I'll say, a thing or a series of things that take enough of that energy
Mm.
from me. I still have projects, I have amazing consulting projects, and like I know I give it at least 100%, sometimes more to all of these.
Mhm.
But there's something that happens when you're in alignment with a project or a build that you are literally thinking about it in the shower, when you're driving, right? When you kind of get into that, I don't want to call it a meditative state, but in like a, a light brain usage state. And
Uh-huh.
all of a sudden you start getting creative. Like I used to say that I would have my best ideas like on the massage table.
Mm.
And my friend Joel's the same way actually, because
So weird.
you're like in a state of consciousness that allows
Wow.
things to like evolve. And
Huh.
I feel that when I'm working on something that like hits an intrinsic side of me.
Mhm.
And so I miss that.
Interesting. Um, do you know who Mark Maron is?
Yeah.
Okay, so he was one of the obviously a comedian, but he started podcasting. Shout out to our predecessor 16 years ago or something like that. This past November, I don't know if you listened to this episode, he had Barack Obama on his very last episode. So he's retiring his podcast. In it,
Good place to end.
yeah, well, I'm comparing you to Barack Obama. I think
Oh,
that's
oh,
cool.
please keep going.
Yeah, because Barack Obama's they had this big conversation about figuring out what's next, which I thought was super. I mean, especially hearing from the president of, I mean,
Former
arguably,
president.
well,
Yeah,
I
I
still
can
consider him our
no longer
president.
complain about my transition
Was
because
this
he kind of peaked, right?
yeah, he definitely
And he
did.
peaked early.
But he said, like, I have a quote right here, because they were talking about figuring out what to do next.
Yeah.
And Barack Obama said, the first question you got to ask yourself is what's my next highest and best use?
Ooh,
Which I
okay.
thought was so like simple and good. And it doesn't necessarily mean like what is my next big thing? Because you may not get to that like in the next step. But what is my next highest and best use? Do you like
Okay,
it?
fair. I like it. It also really stresses me out because I
Jesus.
don't yet know how to like I don't know what is my best highest highest and best use, you say?
Yeah, but like what if they're just talking about what if like maybe this podcast is right now, or maybe
Well, it's
going
sure
to
taking up
hang
a lot of my time.
it is your absolute best use. Don't think about doing anything
I
else.
read the script.
I put a big arrow there. Or like, no, what if your next highest and best use is, I don't know, I'm making this up, but like getting a dog or going to hang out with family in
Yeah.
Florida or something like, you know what I mean? Maybe that will then lead you to your next big thing.
It's very possible. I
Okay.
need to also probably work on internalizing the statement of like highest and best use because
Yeah.
I did some amazing work with a coach that specializes in helping you understand your ikigai, which is a Japanese concept that helps you understand kind of this quadrant of what does the world need?
Mm-hmm.
What am I good at? What can I get paid for? And it kind of like, it really helps round out these aspects of what you love to do. Again, how you can make money, like what you're just naturally good at, also. And then there's an aspect of what the world needs. And not many people are living in their full ikigai.
Okay. Let me ask you this then, though. We have talked in past episodes. You and I personally talk a lot about surrender. We both read The Surrender Experiment by Michael Singer. How does like that kind of exercise gel with living in this newly surrendered, less controlling kind of vibe we're both going for?
Doesn't work that well,
Okay.
actually, now that we're talking about it.
I'm just curious.
But they're at odds a little bit.
Hmm.
However, I think there's definitely value in the ikigai exercise because I also need a framework to help.
You
Fi-
personally need a framework.
yeah, I think a lot of people do too, or like whether you need a framework or an outside coach or someone you want to work with to
Good
help
call.
you understand like what is your highest and best use of your time
Hmm.
because it is hard.
Yeah.
And I don't feel pressure, like external pressure. All the pressure I feel is internal. It's because I have felt the flow before. I have
Yeah.
felt the alignment of my ikigai. Was it a perfect 100% alignment? No, because few people have that, particularly in the first couple of like chapters of their career, but I have felt that flow. And once you've felt the flow, it's really hard to do things without the flow.
Hmm. Hmm. Um, there another thing Obama and Mark Maron talked about is what they called the weight of responsibility for what's next. And I was thinking it's interesting. Like I really felt this when I wrote my first book way back when, and it was like a big phenomenon and stuff. And then it's like, oh shit, okay, I did this big thing. Now what's next? And I felt that in different ways, but that was like when I really felt it. And I know you have felt like City Row was such a huge deal.
Yeah,
And you did feel that kind of weight, maybe that responsibility isn't the right word. Maybe it's the weight of expectations.
that's a good one.
So how does anybody out there that has done something really big, like a professional athlete that is, won a gold medal in the Olympics and then they retire, how do you deal with that?
I mean, I think that I'm hoping that this podcast is going to figure that out for me.
Yeah,
But
we
that's what this
we
is
are in
about.
real time.
Yeah, I mean, I think that that is the real thing to grapple with that I'm grappling with right now. And it's evolving for me in real time.
Hmm.
And by the time this
Me
podcast
too.
comes out, like it's going to evolve. But I think part of it is that, well, hold on, what if I don't want to do that again? Right? I, over the past 2 years, oftentimes the easiest thing for me to do, quote unquote, easiest thing for me to do professionally would be to raise money for some kind of new business venture. Like, I
Mm.
genuinely think that that would be one of the easiest paths for me to do right now. Whether I need to raise a million, two, three, five, like if I had conviction behind something, I feel confident that that would be like one of the easiest paths for me.
Interesting. Let's
And
do it.
yet, I don't want to right
Hmm.
now.
There you go.
And you can't force something like that. So I think the realization that I'm not someone who's going to go look for the thing just because I need to find the thing. Instead, okay, maybe that's off the table.
Yeah.
What if I never raise, tens of millions of dollars again? Great.
And also not necessarily doing the thing just because you're good at it and can do it in your sleep.
Right.
I feel like I've fallen into that since shutting down my company, started doing things and being like, okay, this company or person or whatever is going to pay me a lot of money, but really it just wasn't lighting me up. So I've come to start to narrow
Mm-hmm.
the show must go
You really come to,
narrow my sorry for everyone listening. One of our lights just fell down and it scared the crap out of me and it was
I'm
funny.
fine. I'm unfazed. This is New York City, Leanne.
Okay, sorry.
Roll with the
I
punches,
get
my
easily
friend.
distracted. What can I tell you? I'm not a professional, okay? Anyway, so one other what else can we learn kind of in closing about living in the space, your identity before the next big thing?
Yeah. For me, I think that it's kind of like time heals everything in some
Mm,
capacity. And as I move through it, I I first have to separate myself and my own identity from the company.
mm,
And I think that because it was a long drawn out ending,
yeah.
I was able to start unstitching that a little early.
Yep.
So it was deeply stitched in. Like I thought I was City Row for a little while.
Mm.
And so I got to slowly start unstitching before we signed the final paperwork and before I deleted my email address. Actually, I still have the email address. A few little things I'm still tying up there, but I've had to continue to unstitch that. Like every day, I'm unstitching that. Though every time I wait a longer period of time from checking that email,
Mm.
it takes a lot of time to unstitch. And then there was a okay, well, what am I going to restitch to? And now I'm kind of like, well, maybe I don't have to stitch something.
I love the analogy of stitching because it's not ripping. It's not like a band-aid. It's
No,
literally like a very careful unraveling piece by piece kind of thing.
meticulous,
Yeah.
slow. There is no machine for it,
And you actually
unfortunately.
can't rush it because you're going to rip it if you rush it. So you just have to do it. And I think that's really, honestly, that's a really good takeaway for anybody here because your identity in on with one thing in one thing is can be really powerful and real you can be really stitched in tightly. So it might take some time to unravel that. And I think that's perfectly not only okay, but advisable to take your time, right?
Take my time and also recognize as I'm both hungry for the next thing to put all of my energy into,
Mhm.
I'm also very careful to make sure that I don't get stitched in too deep, kind of a thing. Because I don't think that that's necessarily a prerequisite for happiness, flow. Like, it's not about the level of stitching. I think it's about the level of passion, alignment, belief.
Mhm.
And so I'm conscious. I'm really conscious. And also, I'm trying to decipher what's right. And I'm not always sure.
And that's okay. And like we said, getting comfortable in the uncertainty. It's
Yeah.
part of the
And I think
process.
part of it is that you just never will.
Yeah.
And so just sit in it and trust and believe and re-listen to the surrender experiment as many times as humanly possible.
Yeah. Maybe we should ask Michael Singer to come talk to us next episode.
I would show up.
Yeah, we'd have him front and center. But until then, everybody, thanks for being here. Thanks, Helene.
Yeah, thanks
Have a
for
great
joining
day.
us as we step from what was to what's next.
Can't wait. Bye. That was weird.